The FAA public comment period for Starship Orbital Flight Test Environmental Assessment begins. The first ever SLS finishes stacking, and there was finally a crewed moon rocket for the first time in half a century. And then to end out not just this episode, but also Season 1, I look into Starliner and its events and calling. Today on Space Stuff by Teenage Astronaut. So, as many of you know, because I'm a little late to the party, but guess what, I'm just trying to catch up and get back on the times. The FAA, I think it was like a month ago now, released the public comment period released the rough draft for the Starship Orbital Flight Test Environmental Assessment. That's what I'm going to call it, because it's much easier to remember than anything else, really. So, that is that. There was quite a bit to unpack with it. I'm pretty sure both comment periods are over now. You had the first one on Monday, and the second one yesterday on Wednesday. So, I did not go to any of it, because I have done more than enough Zoom calls in my life. Don't need to do any more. But it seems like a lot of people it seems like it's currently going in the yay direction, from what I've seen so far. I don't know how that's going to stay. It could totally change. It could go the exact opposite, and they could actually decide to not do it, which, by the way, in the event that it didn't get passed, that would be really bad. Because when you think about it in a way, this environmental assessment is kind of the future of SpaceX, because from what I've seen, it looks like either they'll have to spend years working on a launch site at LC-39A, which by then they might not even have that launch pad anymore, depending on if they get the lease extended, which they hope they will. But yeah, like, because I know the lease is up in 2022, 2023, one of those years, I can never remember. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. There are a lot of stuff to worry, but if they decide to not do it at LC-39A for any reason, they would be forced to move on to offshore, which could take a long time, because they'd have to get all that infrastructure set up, have to find a way to get it out there, all that. So, hopefully it goes well. Like I said, from what I've seen, it's gone really well, but you never know. But yeah, apparently it's been really boring. There have apparently also been a lot of conspiracy theorists and a bunch of people just practically saying SpaceX bad, and a bunch of people just a bunch of stupid. But that is expected when you have something as big and public like this. Was apparently somebody pretending to be Ocean Cam and lying and doing a bunch of bullcrap. But that's drama that I don't care about. I do not record these podcast episodes to pass on drama. I record them because I enjoy doing it, but also because I love space stuff. Like I said in the About Me page, on the About page on my website, which I fixed recently because what I had there about my history, I hated. It was super just key. I did not like it. I fixed it. It goes in depth. I enjoy space stuff a lot, so that's why I make this podcast. So I try to keep the drama out as much as I can, but I can only keep so much of it out. I'm expecting to tonight, as I'm recording this, find out more information about that. We'll see what happens. Expect the first episode of season 2 to be about that. But like I said, there are big changes coming, and some that I'm not sure I want to do, but I might end up doing later on in season 2. But I'm very excited for it. I expect many things to change, involving logos, by the way. So that is that, the Starship comment period. Now we are going to move on to a much bigger topic. SLS, which last night, I think, got stacked for the first time ever. I'm currently going to Twitter to try to find a picture of the fully stacked SLS. So I'm just going, okay, so, right, onto SLS. So, this is a picture posted in the past 24 hours. I'll have the tweets posted from the description below. This is, as of last night, SLS. Orion was at least soft-mated in the recently, and it sits on top of the SLS booster. This rocket is currently planned on flying in probably early 2022. For the Artemis 1 mission going to the moon, testing our system and deploying, if all is successful, some small sats into lunar orbits. And Earth orbits probably too. It'll be very interesting. I'm very excited for it. This is big though, because like I said at the very beginning of the intro for this is the first time a moon rocket has been stacked since the final Saturn V was constructed. And I cannot tell you right now how long that was, but that was probably about half a decade ago. Which is insane, because after a while of not having any lunar capability, really, like for manned missions, we do. SLS does have issues, that is generally personally family related, but it's a big rocket, and I know on some stuff, I know it's gonna be interesting, that's for sure. But I'm definitely excited for it. Shuttle was an awesome rocket from my childhood, and to see a lot of its hardware being reused, it's cool. It's cool. I'm having a moment. But yeah, so this is SLS. This is Artemis 1. It's in the VAB. That was really the sad thing about it is there was not much to talk about with it. Because like it is just real. It is beautiful. But I like it a lot. It's gonna be cool when it happens. It looks like we might have 2 heavy lift vehicles, super heavy lift vehicles, launching in only 2022, with Starship and SLS. And now the question, the one singular question: who will fly first, Starship or SLS? That will be a talk for another day. But now on to our final segment of Season 1. Boeing Starliner gets pushed back to probably mid-2022. Next up, on Space Stuff by Teenage Astronaut. Hello everybody, this is another segment. I'm so excited for this one. So this is Starliner, as you know. Again, the tweet for this video comes from this video. The tweet this picture comes from will be in the description below. Starliner, which was Starliner OFT-2, so the Orbital Flight Test 2 mission, was originally scheduled to fly in late July 2021, then got pushed back to August of 2021, then got pushed back to late 2021, then got pushed to early 2022, and as of recently has been pushed to mid-2022 due to sticky valves theoretically being caused by a mix of due to environmental issues. So, OFT-2 is big in multiple ways, mainly because it will be the second flight test, and if you remember, the first flight test, which I did not cover on this podcast because it did not exist when that happened, was, we will just say it did not go to plan. It really did not go to plan, that went terribly. But, this one, hopefully will. As you know, as you hopefully know, but if you don't, Starliner is Boeing's commercial crew entry, practically the rival of Crew Dragon, and it already has astronauts that have 2 of those astronauts were recently moved from Starliner to Crew Dragon for Crew 5, I think. Crew 3? No, Crew 5, yeah. And we'll see what happens. It should be launching by 2022 now. Hopefully this is the last time something like this happens, because I hope it doesn't. I do want to see Starliner be able to be successful, because the entire purpose of the commercial crew program was to mean that something like the space shuttle, where the U.S. wouldn't have crew capability for years due to a single launch failure. We don't want that happening again. So I do want it to be successful. We'll see what happens, but sooner the better, right? But yeah, that is Starliner update. On to the outro. The FAA public comment period for Starship Orbital Flight Test Environmental Assessment begins. The first ever SLS finishes stacking, and there was finally a crewed moon rocket for the first time in half a century. And then to end out not just this episode, but also Season 1, I look into Starliner and its events and calling. Today on Space Stuff by Teenage Astronaut.